Welcome to part 3. While I was doing part 1 and part 2, I've now changed into part 1 of 3, part 2 of 3, and this will be part 3 of 3. Because what I realised there's a few things that I missed out because I don't script these videos. Obviously, you can tell by the standard. But there's a few things I missed out on. So what I've done is I've actually cut this piece with a cutter, and I'll show you when I get finished this vertical. I'll show you how well the lead is in there. You can actually see. I won't pull it too far apart now, but I will do when at the end. So what I'm going to do is I've already tinned this now. So I cleaned it, I tinned it, I've neutralised it with just a little bit of baking soda and water, and then dried off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to lead load vertically, because I was thinking about it last night, and the bottom line is with this kind of work is that rarely people have a jig so they can turn the car over on its side or whatever, and a lot of seams you have to do vertically, so it's easier to see it. And I noticed in part 1 the camera went off just as I was actually putting the lead in and pushing it into place, and you didn't really see how it looked, and hopefully this will come out. So I'll start this back up again. And it is really good if you should really wear gloves, because the metal gets hot and so on and so forth, and it's not good to have the lead into your hands. But some people are a bit over the top with this. But it's entirely up to you if you want to wear plastic gloves or whatever you want. But for this, it's ideal if the metal's hot. So wear gloves, a respirator, because lead's not good on you. But I mean, unless you were doing this full time, it's not really a big deal. It's not going to cause that major problems. But I guess in a lot of videos, people, it's the old CYA, where they put in little instructions for health and safety, because it's CYA, it's basically cover your arse, which is what most people do these days. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start heating this up, and I'll show you how to do it vertically and the little technique for that. So just put a bit of tallow on there. Okay, so again, what we do is we want to heat it, get it nice and warm. So this has already been tinned, so there's no problem. Just heat it up a bit more. So it's already been tinned. Now if you're doing something vertically like this, the best thing is start at the bottom and get yourself a blob. You can see how that gets shinier. Hopefully this is going to show up in the camera again. You can see it'll get a little bit shinier. So I've heated it up. I'll start heating the metal up. Oh, by the way, all these plasters is typical of me. I was using a grinder, and most people who are grinding and cutting take off the grinding guard, and unfortunately I wasn't wearing the gloves. If I'd have worn these gloves, as you can see here, if I'd have worn these gloves, that's what would have happened. It would have hit the glove first, and in fact it went down into my knuckle and nearly went to the bone, and this is another cut from metal. So gloves, really, you should really wear them. It's entirely up to you. I'm sure you're all responsible adults, hopefully. Anyway, so now what I'll do is I'll start heating this up, both of them at the same time. Get this lead, and all the lead that you lose, what you do is just scrape it off and put it in a little tin, and you can reapply it again. You don't have to throw it away. It's about +5 in here. Even though it was last night, it was -11, 12. It never goes below, without the heater, it never goes below +5, because I did a lot of work on making the place insulated. I did a lot of work on the insulation. But when the heater's on, it's sitting around 10, 15 or 20 even. Sometimes it gets a bit too hot. So like I say, just get that lead. You can see it. It just starts to go like butter. And the best way to do this, again, I hope this shows up in the, it's a bit hard to do it. So if you're doing a vertical strip like that, just start at the bottom, get this so it's like butter, and then push it. There we go. And you just push it into the, and it really is it's a call just how much you put in. You can see there it's running too much, so that means the heat's... So what you have to do is take the heat on and away. Again here. So you're basically pushing it into the joint. And you're kind of smearing it on. What you can do then is use the paddle and just push it in as it's getting... So I'll just do that little bit just to show you. So now this is where, as I say, the judgment call comes in. With lead loading, the thing that I've found is it's better to put more in than you actually need than less, because the problem is if you have to add lead afterwards, you've got to reheat what you've already put in. So that means you've destroyed any work that you've done the first time. You can see there, see how it's sitting quite nice. Just heat it enough so you can see it. And what I've learnt with it is you don't need to flatten it out too much, but what you need to do is definitely push it into whatever it is you're doing. You can see there how it's building up almost like a dam. And this is what I'm talking about, this judgment call about where you should be with it. So you heat it enough so it's not flowing, but also get it in so you can move it. It should be like say warm butter, but not runny. And you can see it's just that little judgment call about where it should. You will get some running, it's inevitable, but you can then, and you can see there. This is just a little demonstration, but you can see there now that hole is filled. Okay, it's not great, but the problem is you heat it too much, it will run too fast, so you've got to do it at a point where, but you also need to make sure that the lead is completely one product, if you like. And as I say, if you, let me just take this camera back a little bit now, hopefully, and we can hopefully we can, yeah, okay. And I'll bring what I'll do is I'll bring the thick piece over. So what I was saying about this is it's better to use more lead than you need. So if you're getting up with a really big bump, no problem, because you can always cut it back. But if you get it too low, then you have to start all over again. So that means you have to reheat the lead that's in, and it's going to run, or so all that work you've done is not enough. It's better to put more on and shave it back. And then put not enough in and have to go back on top, because you can't just blob it on top. It has to be a molten metal, a molten lead with the rest of the lead, or it won't hold. So I'll just pick this up, put my gloves back on, and I'll show you this piece now so you can see it. Hopefully I'll look in the viewfinder. Oh, camera's just gone over, nice one. So I'll put this in the viewfinder hopefully, and you can see what we're doing. So, okay, so hopefully you can see there that lead is in. And this piece I was talking about, I'll just bend this so you can see it. I cut this just now. So there you can see, hopefully you can see. Okay, oh, hang on, let's take my glove off. Oh no, I can't because it's too hot. Maybe you can see there that piece here. And this is the other side of it. You can see how that lead has gone right into it, and it's one piece of metal now. Okay, it's lead and steel, but it is one piece. Yeah, and that's it. But like I say, the techniques with this is better to just get a work piece like this, or a bigger piece, smaller piece, whatever you want, and work with it, and just play with it until you're confident with it that you can mould it. And believe me, after 3 or 4 goes, you'll think, bang, well, what are these guys talking about? They're making this a big deal, and it really isn't. But the big points, like I say, is cleanliness all the time. If you've got it clean enough, it will adhere to the metal. The lead will be absolutely solid. I think actually, did I bring a hammer up? Yes, I did. I brought a hammer here with me now. And what I'll do, it's still a bit warm, that. I'll give this a whack, and I'll just show you that there's no. And this is a heavy hammer. It's quite a heavy hammer, this. So I'll give it a whack, and you can see. Yeah, and I give that. There's no way you're going to whack it that hard, but you can see there that there's hardly any impression in it. Yeah. So it works well, this stuff. There is a bit of an art to it. I definitely think it's more craftsmanship than putting in filler. And if you put in filler, it should be a very light skim anyway. If you're putting in 1 or 2